A broken clock is right twice a day, man. I normally don't agree with Stephen A, man. I'm totally against his type of commentary. You know, and the sports shows, in my estimation, have done more harm than good for basketball discourse. But his latest take regarding Giannis and him calling him a underachiever if he only ends his career with one ring, and he got a lot of backlash. I mean, a lot of people ain't rolling with that. You know, you got somebody like Giannis who's ideally what we want when we try to compare players from today to, you know, the golden years of basketball, right? He's a guy who plays hard on both ends. Yeah, he don't try to make friends. He's ultra competitive. He do whatever he needs his team to win, right? He'd rather do it himself. He not with the teaming up. All these things that people come at, you know, the new culture around the NBA now, Giannis is more of the old culture, right? So when Stephen A, if y'all ain't here, this is what Stephen A said about Giannis.
What's one word you would use to describe Giannis's career if he doesn't win another title?
Underachiever. Underachiever. I'm going to tell you why. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Over the last 4 years, minimum 200 games, Giannis, second in the league, 30.4 points per game. Fifth in the league, 11.7 rebounds per game. Fifth among qualifiers at 58% from the field. And 9 All-NBA selections in his career. 9 All-Star selections. And top 10 finishes in league MVP voting 9 times. And he has more of that than postseason series wins. That's unacceptable. It's not his fault. I'm not in any way pointing to him or what he's not doing. I'm saying that you don't look at somebody that dominant, that fantastic, with that kind of fire in his belly to compete on a night in, night out basis, and all you have is one championship to show for it. He's got 1 playoff series win in the last 4 years. Ain't his fault. He was hurt a couple of times.
Right.
Got upset by Miami, Jimmy Butler and the crew. Jimmy and them gave it to him, no doubt. But this year, Damian Lillard goes down, you lose to Indiana. We understand all of that. But to know Giannis, his career, his accomplishments, his cachet, and to say 1 championship, no. You definitely expect.
Okay, so we got that there, right? And I had to sit back and listen because I'm sitting there like, yo, man, Giannis wasn't a highly touted draft pick, right? He wasn't top 10, right? He was out the top 10. And you talking about already into his career, he has multiple All-NBA teams. He has the Defensive Player of the Year awards. He's had a ring. He's had broken records from like having some of the most crazy stat line games we ever saw, whether it be like 40, 15, and 19 or whatever. This dude has done a lot. He's literally the closest. He's literally a more advanced version of LeBron as far as like the stats go, right? Like remember when LeBron used to do his stats where you see him have 30, 12 and 11, and we thought that was crazy. Giannis is doing that plus adding more on the top, right? So to look at a player like that and say he's an underachiever is crazy. But then I'm looking back at what Stephen A. is saying. I kind of agree with what he's saying. Take it away from Stephen A. being the one that said it, because I think a lot of people, once it comes out of his mouth, it's like, all right, let me disregard it. I ain't even trying to hear it because I know he on bullshit. But let's take a step back. All those things I listed about Giannis is why that saying is somewhat true. Giannis has done so much in the NBA and his talent is so high. Like, he's in a different tier now. Like, the reason somebody will call him underachievers because they're putting him in a LeBron, Mike, Kobe tier. That tier of guys, they got more than 1 ring. They got 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, it's a different tier. If anything, you might have to remove Giannis from that tier. And then you could do that without calling his career underachieving. But the only reason somebody would say that, like Stephen A. and others, is they look at him on that tier. His trajectory, he won a ring before all those guys, outside of Kobe. But he won a ring before Mike. He won a ring before LeBron, as far as the ages go. He had a Defensive Player of the Year award. LeBron ain't got that. Kobe ain't got that. Like, he did things where it's like, if you projected his career, you didn't foresee him not having another ring. I feel like people want to say the same thing about Jokic. Like, 3 MVPs. Like, you're foreseeing him having another ring. The issue is basketball discourse is so toxic that if you don't win multiple rings, you're on you can't be top 10 all time. You can't be top 15 all time. And you're automatically not better than, anybody that has 3 or more rings. That's also a superstar. So that's the issue. People don't allow you to enter those conversations if you only have 1 ring. So when people want to put Giannis in that conversation, maybe he could be top 10 all time, he's automatically discarded if he ends his career with 1 ring. My only issue, and that's true, right? That's true. That's how fans are going to look at it. No matter, I think underachieving was the word people held on to, but it is kind of underachieving in a way, not in a general sense. If we're talking about from everybody that's played basketball, all the players and all the superstars and stars that came to the league that haven't even sniffed the success Giannis got, of course he's not an underachiever. But if you're comparing him to the top echelon, the class A of the players that ever played the game, then he would be an underachiever, right? Because he projected and you foresaw him going and getting in that conversation and sharing the ring accolades with them. And if he ends with 1, he didn't meet that. Let me ask y'all a question. If he only ends his career with 1 ring, he will go in the Dirk category. Because I feel like the way we talk about that Dirk ring is one of the most impressive rings of all time. But why isn't Dirk in your top 10? He did it the right way. He stayed with 1 team. He went to 2 finals dragging that team. His last team, he didn't have a superstar. The one he won a ring on, he didn't have an all-star. The first one, he dragged that team there as well. He has top in points. I think he topped 20 in points all time. He's delivered. Time and time again, he's delivered. He damn near in his championship run eliminated like the past 5 champions. Spurs, OKC, the Lakers. Like he damn near eliminated all of them to get to the finals and then beat a big 3. So if you're talking about an impressive career that has done everything that fans act like they hold themselves and pundits act like they hold so dear and near as far as character goes and journey goes, why isn't Dirk in top 10, 15 talks? It's because he ended with 1 ring. Now, people project Giannis to be better than Dirk, so that's why they don't want to see him fall to the wayside. Now, if you want to have a discussion, is that conversation toxic in itself or does it disservice in itself? Yes. But that's the Michael Jordan effect. Y'all don't say to be better than Duncan, you need to have 5 rings. When AD won his first ring and he was dropping numbers that he was dropping, people were already comparing him to Duncan, saying he's better than Duncan or more skilled. We talking about Mr. Fundamental. Duncan literally can do anything on the court. He could be the best defender on the court, the best scorer, the best pass. He could do whatever on the court. Look at his resume. All defensive teams like crazy. All-star games. Rebounds, everything. One of the best post-up player ever. Him and Hakeem got the argument. And people are already throwing AD into that conversation based off of what they saw on the eye test. A lot of what people see in Giannis is the eye test. And then you look at the numbers, they back it up. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? Dude shot like 60% from the field this year. But no other position you look like you take it from a standpoint where you need to have this many rings or this many things to be better than this person. You only do that when it comes to being on Jordan's level. You start looking at the rings. And I think when it came to Giannis, you got to get past LeBron and Kobe to get to that Jordan tier. But people were foreseeing and projecting that he would end up being on the tier with those guys. And unfortunately, the history books are going to look at it after this generation goes and the next generation goes and Giannis retires. That's what's going to show up. Now, we know what Giannis is. I know what Giannis is. But that's how he's going to be talked about because, unfortunately, it's all narrative driven. And that's what Stephen A was saying. Now, Stephen A does participate in that. He contributes to that. He damn near might be spearheading it. But that narrative talk of creating narratives of you need to have multiple rings or your career ain't worth as much as you think it is what has drove certain players to achieve to get more rings, or has had careers not looked at with the proper respect. Jay Williams was going at Stephen A. And look, I was grinning when he was, because I liked every rebuttal he was throwing at for Stephen A. And I agree with him. But at the end of the day, if Giannis ends his career with one ring, Jay Williams will not put Giannis in his top 10. He won't even let him sniff the top 10. It's just a fact. That's a fact for most people. And somebody as talented as Giannis should be in a conversation. If you're talking about skill set, if you're going to put KD in there, and what came with his rings that everybody hated so much, and I seen people put him in the top 10. Now, it could have been, prisoner of the moment, because a lot of people were saying it when he entered that scoring milestone. I think he broke a scoring milestone this year. I think when he had 30,000 points, something like that. A lot of people were saying he was top 10 all time, and they were saying it like confidently. Sometimes it could be prisoner of the moment, so I'm not going to put too much stock in that, but Giannis can't enter. If KD had those 2 rings and he had one, they wouldn't let him enter that conversation. They didn't let Steph enter that conversation mostly until he got that 2022 ring. Unfortunately, you gotta get more than one ring to get to that type of standpoint. And Giannis, nobody projected Giannis to be this. Look where he was drafted. Nobody was looking at Milwaukee out of steal. So yes, in a general sense, he didn't underachieve. Not at all. Didn't underachieve at all. But if you were projecting him to enter a certain conversation, one ring is not going to get him there. So I do agree with Stephen A. in that point. Who fault it is that that's the conversation? That's another conversation for another day. Stephen A., all those pundits, the media has created these narratives, and that's why players get looked at the way they are. But, unfortunately, AI can't enter those conversations, right? AI can't be top 15. He can't, probably have him top 20, right? But he can't be top 10, top 15, because he wasn't able to get one. He wasn't able to get one. And then we penalize guys for teaming up and trying to get that ring so they can enter those conversations. So y'all won't let them enter it unless they got multiple rings. But if they got an organization and a team that's not surrounding them with the right pieces, if his second fiddle gets injured one year, now it's just him, or if a powerhouse builds, or if he has a bad coach, and all these type of factors, like Jay Williams was saying, there's so many factors that come into getting the ring. There's so many factors. And if these guys don't take their career in their own hands, might force a trade here and there because they're not seeing what's being built around them, they get crucified for it. So yeah, basketball is shitty when it comes to discourse. It's just really just bad. Like, they penalize you, they encourage you to do one thing, penalize you for doing another. Everybody want Giannis to leave. Like I said in the last video, they want him to leave, but then y'all was holding him as more respect than other players because he decided to stay in Milwaukee. But if he leave Milwaukee and go somewhere else, y'all going to take that away from him. But if he end his career with one ring because Milwaukee failed to build a team around him, Dame got hurt, then y'all look at him as not top 10. So look, it's bad. I'm with y'all. I'm not agreeing that I'm okay with the conversation being that, but the fans have adopted this mindset, and I haven't seen one top 10 list either online or from a media member where somebody had one ring and was in that top 10. No matter what other accolades they had, they did not sniff that top 10. If somebody as talented as Giannis should be in that top 10. He should be. He has a good case. I mean, like, if he had more rings, people will put him there. Like, you can't look at his resume and say he doesn't have a case. Giannis has a case to be 9 or 10, but he missing the rings. And that's the barrier there. Literally, it's all people are waiting for him to get. So I get what Stephen A. saying in that sense. But let me know what y'all think, man. Again, I know it's coming from Stephen A., so we want to take it a different way. But he wasn't wrong as far as what fans or media are going to say at the end of his career. He's not going to enter certain conversations if he has one ring. No matter what happens, the later careers go on, context matters less and less, unfortunately. People are not going to go back and look at the landscape of the league in the context of the league. Now, for him and his personal agenda, He said he want more rings. You know, he feel like his career is a failure if he only gets one. I mean, that's what he's saying because he in competition mode. You got to obviously keep yourself going. But I do think part of him says that because he won his ring so early. So that means he went like 15 straight years after that not winning. So I believe him when he say that. And that's all people want to look at at the end of the day. But again, Giannis is a phenomenal talent. One of the best we ever seen. Literally LeBron on steroids from a number standpoint. And from an impact standpoint, yeah, I agree. Like both sides of the ball, that's what LeBron was doing in his prime. Giannis is doing that. Giannis is high field goal efficiency, doing most of his work in the paint. It's a lot of remnants there. Only thing is missing is the rings. So hopefully he get it. I mean, I hopefully Giannis get 3 in his career, at least 3. That's what I hope he get. Because I feel like somebody in his career deserves to be at that table. But let me know what y'all think. This is Queese representing Through the Scope. Like, subscribe, comment. Appreciate it all. Peace.